Hello everyone, welcome back to Real Reds Talk. This is your breaking news show this evening. Marcus Rashford's future at Aston Villa, is it in doubt following his injury to his hamstring, which we will discuss shortly. We also have news on Scott Mctominay shining in Italy. Did Manchester United make the right decision there? Very interesting. Also, we have players returning in Amad Diallo and Matthijs de Ligt. How crucial could that be to the rest of our season, and more importantly, the Europa League? And also, the Cunha signing is entering the final steps now, in which seems that he's going to be made a Manchester United player very, very soon. But we're going to go from one attacker potentially incoming to one attacker who God knows what's going to happen with him over the summer. So we had David Ornstein basically report earlier that Marcus Rashford is expected to miss the rest of the season with a hamstring injury. No surgery and rehab at Villa as tests are ongoing. And his campaign is over, and the 27-year-old just wants to focus on getting fit for England games in June, because obviously you've got the World Cup qualifiers coming up under Thomas Tuchel as well. And Marcus Rashford isn't getting any younger. He's 27 years old. He's technically into his prime at the minute. And in his prime years, he will be wanting to play at the World Cup, at big stages, big tournaments, Champions League football. He'll want to be doing all this. So having an injury like this towards the end of the season, could it be damaging potentially? I'm not sure, because when you look at his stats since he joined Aston Villa on loan from United, which has a £40 million buy option, by the way, so we don't know whether Aston Villa are actually going to trigger that or not, but 10 starts, 7 substitute appearances, 4 goals and 7 assists for Rashford. He's looked really, really good at Aston Villa, and he's also been starting as well over players like Ollie Watkins, which is incredible, because Ollie Watkins is deemed as a bit of a legend there for Villa, in the goals and the numbers that he's putting up. So, yeah, I'm interested to see the dynamic with this if Aston Villa don't get into Champions League football, in which case, let's pull up the league table. I seem to always do this on the live, but I'm just curious to know. So they're on currently 57 points. Obviously, that loss to Man City in the last minute was a huge blow to them. They're on 57 points. Nottingham Forest are on 60 above them, and they've got a game in hand as well, so they could go 6 points clear. Chelsea are 3 points clear, and Man City in 4th are on 61 points, so they're 4 points as well. So in the next 4 games, they're going to have to rely on Forest, Chelsea, or City slipping up basically. And Newcastle, to be fair, because Newcastle are on 62 points. But losing a couple of games and them not losing any and winning a few. So it looks like a little bit of a tough ask, but it is the Premier League, anything can happen. We've seen Bournemouth go from 4th position to mid-table now. You've seen teams like Brighton drop off slightly. Fulham had a really incredible start as well. Forest have dropped out the Champions League spots. So you really genuinely don't know what's going to happen in this season. But I hope they do get Champions League football purely for that fact. Purely just so we can have more money to spend in the summer, because I don't really want him coming back to Manchester United. I just don't see a future for him here. I think the trial has been done and tested with Rashford. He's obviously a very, very talented player. There is no doubt about that. But there is always a if or a but, or what about this and what about that. And I don't want to go back through a rerun. Do you know what I mean? When you watch the series too many times and you're like, I've seen it. I don't need to see it anymore. Move on. If he's happy, fantastic. We're happy. We get money. He's playing the kind of football in his prime years that he should be doing. Everyone just shake hands and walk away. That's the way I see it at the minute. I also think as well, he's put himself in the shop window for other European clubs who are browsing for an attacker. I doubt it will be PSG now, who was heavily linked with him, because PSG have Desire Doué, they have Kvaratskhelia, they have Dembele, they have Barcola off the bench, which is crazy. They have way too much attacking talent. Would it surprise me if they went back in for him? It wouldn't surprise me, no, because what they've done is, with someone like Ousmane Dembele, if you look at his time at Barcelona, it was very, we're not sure about his application. He's not turned out to the player that we thought he would be. We'd invested, I think it was 120 million in Ousmane Dembele. We couldn't get it. And then I think PSG went and spent half on him. Luis Enrique's got the best out of him this season. I mean, Ousmane Dembele's stats this season. Sorry, I'm going to have to go back to Google. And some people will say, it's only the French league and da-da-da. He's been doing it in the Champions League as well. He looks incredible. And this season so far, Ousmane Dembele in all competitions has got 32 goals and 12 assists. And this was a player who's considered a bit of a write-off and a bit, So they might take the opportunity to bring someone like Marcus Rashford in. Also, as well, Rashford wants that move to Barcelona. There was definite interest there. But again, I look at them, I'm like, Barcelona have got Rafinha and Lamar, who both arguably had like Ballon d'Or winning seasons almost, depending on what they win. If they go on to win the league and the Champions League, I think there's a high chance that one of them two wingers get a big award this season. So how Rashford fits in there, I don't know. But there's more interest now, which is a good point. I feel like had Villa had not come in for us, it's like having a car on the drive where it's been there for ages and it's rusting a little bit. It's a nice car, let's say it's a Maserati, or I don't know. I'm not really know my cars that much, so it's probably not great to use a car analogy. But you've got a nice shiny car at the front, but no one's ran it for ages, for years, and it's still a bit. No one's gonna take a gamble on it. If you see someone flying about in this, this nice car, and you just got a new paint job on it and it's shining, there's obviously going to be more interest there. So the fact that Rashford has done really well at Villa can only stand us in good stead when it comes to the window to selling him. So hopefully we've generated enough interest so we can actually move him on. The other stumbling block, again, which is the stumbling block with every single player that we ever tried to sell in the history of Manchester United, is the wages. His wages is a lot. So a club is going to have to take a gamble on that kind of money per week. I mean, you're setting aside, if he's on, let's just call it 250 grand a week, yeah? Because obviously we went out of Europe, so that wage at United does drop by 25% or whatever it is. So let's just call it 250 grand a week. That's going to cost you £1 million a month, £12 million a year for 5 years, which is 12, 24, 48, 60 million quid. That's just for his wages alone. And then there's a transfer fee on top of that if you pay 40 mil. So you're getting him for £100 million. That's the package that you're paying for Rashford. So that's something you have to consider. And wages are counted a lot at the minute because of the way amortization works and the financial fair play. They take that into consideration, like what you're spending on your squad. So, yeah, I think it's going to be tricky. He might not even end up going. I know United are putting it out there, and really reliable journalists like Fabrizio Romano and Ornstein are pushing that United do want him sold and they do expect him to go. But it doesn't always work. We know transfer windows, people. It doesn't always work out like that. Random guys say McTominay wanted the move to Napoli. Amazing decision from him personally. Nice light, by the way. Which light? It's not going to be these ones, are they? Because I still need to sort this whole thing out. To be fair, I need some ideas. Like we've got. Obviously, you can't really see it on the camera here. If I zoom out a little bit, just a little bit there, you can see like there's loads of shirts there that I need to sort out. It's a bit of a mess. I'm not really good at like design stuff. Do you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. I've just chucked that together basically, and it is what it is. If you meant that light though, but yeah, appreciate that. I think Sam's got the same one as well. Anyway, yeah, I'll get on to McTominay now actually because I think this is something I really wanted to discuss. So last night, Scott Mctominay scored a brace to send Napoli top of the table, 3 points ahead with 4 games left. And all of their games that they've got left is against things like Lecce, I think Calgary are one. And there's a couple others as well, but they're all bottom of the table, like 15th, 16th, 17th. So it looks like he's probably going to end up firing Napoli to the scudetto. And currently, at the minute, no player across Europe's top 5 leagues have scored more goals from central midfield than Scott McTominay, who's on 11 so far. So you look at that in a minute, and it's kind of like it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because everyone at the time was saying let him go, 25 million, decent price. But at the time, Erik ten Hag was in charge, and Erik ten Hag was the one who wanted to keep him, obviously because he knew what he was capable of. You saw in multiple games, scoring last minute, crashing the box. Done it against Aston Villa, done it against Brentford. He's done it in loads of games where he's come in and had these kind of clutch moments. And he's providing these clutch moments for Napoli. But I think to get the best out of Scott McTominay, in my opinion, I think you need a certain system that allows him to do that. It's almost a bit of a throwback McTominay. Do you know what I mean? Like a bit of a 90s player where he just kind of a second striker, almost crashing the box a little bit. That's what he's best at. And you need a certain system to allocate him in that. And I think with Amorim's system at the minute with the 2 floating 10s alongside the striker, I don't think it personally would have worked. I think there's more build-up involved in with Amarin's front three, with Højlund, Garnacho, and Xerxes, for example. I think you need more of a Xerxes type player, or someone like Cunha. Obviously, we're looking to sign as well. Make sure you keep an eye out. By the way, when that news drops about Matheus Cunha, just keep an eye on this channel. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I don't think he would have. I mean, I'm sure he would have scored a couple of goals. I'm sure Amarin would have used him. Every coach that's ever worked with Scott Mctominay has always spoken about his professionalism, how he applies himself, his consistency as well. I mean, you look at how many games Diego Dalot's getting at the moment. It's not because he's super, super talented. It's because he's always available, he's always fit, and he can play multiple positions. So I'd imagine Scott McTominay would have got as many minutes. And I think it would have been interesting to ask Amarin, actually, would you have let him go in the summer, or would you have kept hold of him? I think a journalist should ask him that. Bring it up in the next presser, whenever that is, and just say, well, it'll be, Wednesday now, I think, for the thingy game. I don't think anyone will ask it, but just say, you've seen Scott McTominay now in Italy, scored 11 goals, been a really important player for him. Looks like they're about to win the league title. Was it a mistake letting him go? Would you have stuck with him? Is he a player that you appreciate? Like, they're the kind of questions I'd be chucking to Amarin at the minute. But if you're going to look for any kind of silver lining out of this and positivity, maybe you can use this in future deals. So, for example, if Napoli come back in for Garnacho, or they expand their interest in Rasmus Højlund, maybe we can use this as what's not protocol? What's the word I'm looking for? We can use this as a sample size just to say, look, we had conversations back in the summer about Scott McTominay, how we thought he was worth 35 million, and you guys was like, no, we're only going to pay 25, and we managed to come to some sort of a deal, and look at the effect he's had in your team. You would say that's a bargain right now, right? So what we're telling you we want for Alejandro Garnacho, for example, £60 million, what you're going to get out of him, the numbers he's going to put up for your team, and how he fits into your system is even better than what he does for us at the minute. And he's obviously a talented kid. So if they use that in negotiations, I don't know if that's a thing, but I could imagine just, turning around and saying, like, he's worth this. You took your team elevated to the next level now. You've just won the league title. Bringing in a player like Garnacho is only going to increase that tenfold, because you've just lost a big winger in Kvaratskhelia for around 80 million quid. So it's not like your skin. You've got the money. Pay up, Napoli. Fucking pay up. That's what I say. Napoli owes another 25 million on McTominay. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Do you know what I mean? I absolutely agree. I think if you were selling him right now, if you could, in some weird kind of universe, if you could go, okay, this is what he's going to do for you. I mean, obviously every club would love that, and put it on a bit of a, what are the things called? It's Tupac did a concert with it, and it was like, obviously it's not Tupac because Tupac's dead. I'm just saying, like, but holographic. Is that the right word? Holographic. That doesn't sound right. That sounds like a shiny card. Hologram. Hologram's the right word, I think it is. Yeah, hologram. If you could put a hologram up and go, this is what he's going to do for you. They are paying 40, 50 million like that. Clutch moments. They didn't really have a sniff yesterday. It was a bit like back and forth. It was a very tight game. And McTominay steps up, bang, 2 really important goals. And that 3 points takes him above Inter Milan in the league. And they're the difference that players can make. And I hope Cunha can make a similar difference for us. I'm not saying in terms of winning the league, but I hope he can make a difference in terms of impacts that McTominay's had. And McTominay's cost half the price of what Cunha will for us. So, yeah. He's also improved our image in the market, as in our players are actually good. That's what I'm saying. And I think in general, anyone who's looked at players who have left United and gone to Italy, I mean, there is a big, long list of players who've done significantly well. There's just proof there. There's proof. It's almost like the opposite direction of sometimes when players come from Italy, and I know me and Chivy have had this back and forth a little bit before. Obviously, Henry came from Italy, and Vieira, I think, came from Juventus. You've had Gianfranco Zola. You've had players who've done really well who have come from, Tevez was another one as well, from Italy, the Italian league to the Premier League have done well. But the majority of them, I would probably say around 60, 70% of them, haven't done really well in the Prem. But when you flip that, I mean, you could go for a list of Man United players now. Chris Smalling was being called Smaldini when he was at Roma. He had a really good couple of solid years whilst he was there. Darmian was playing as a centre-back for Inter Milan, and it still plays for them consistently pretty much every single game from what I see. Ashley Young went there and won a league title, I think, for Inter Milan. Christian Eriksen was there, but I think Christian Eriksen obviously was at there before he was at Manchester United. There's loads of lists. Alexis Sanchez as well, I think did pretty well, didn't he, for Inter Milan, or had a brief spell. So, Lukaku, another one, done great. For Inter just seemed to buy a load of our players. But look at the translation. We bought Onana from Inter Milan. That was all she wrote. You know? So it's interesting that how it works, isn't it? I want to discuss a couple of players coming back. This is more positive news now. Amad Diallo and Matthijs de Ligt are going to be welcomed back by United this week, with Sunday's game against Brentford seen as an opportunity to give them game time. Toby Collier could also return this week as well, having sustained a small issue kind of earlier in the month. But those two players, they're not going to be back for the first leg against Athletic Bilbao, Athletic Club, whatever the fuck you call them these days. But they're going to get minutes against Brentford, which then you would imagine they could probably do a half. You have to be really careful with this, but a half in the second leg at Old Trafford, which, I mean, that could be so important depending what happens in the first leg. Can you get away with that? A question for you, wonderful people. Can you get away with going to Bilbao and putting in a bit of a pragmatic Jose classic Inter at the Nou Camp kind of performance, where you go there, just stink the place out, you know, take back a 1-0 lead or a 0-0, go back to Old Trafford and then really have a magic night, kind of first 45 tight cager. And if you could bring on someone like Amad Diallo is a game changer. He is. Again, I'm going to go back to Google, people, just because I don't have the stats straight off my head. But Amad's stats are still better than the majority of our players this season, and he's been injured for months. It was supposed to be like a season ender. He's got 9 goals and 8 assists in 36 games, which is a decent-ish return. It's, you know, it's not amazing, but it's a pretty good return. He has an impact in games. He had a period where he was doing what Bruno was doing, like he'd just do something every single game. You knew he was going to come up with the goods. The Southampton game was the perfect example of that, where Southampton were dominating us, really, and beating us. And then Amad stepped up, bang, 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 hat-trick, wins us the game. He can do that. He's more than capable of that. He's one of our best players, no doubt about it. Amad, Bruno Fernandes. The silence speaks volumes almost, doesn't it? Amad and Bruno Fernandes are two players that would get in a lot of teams. And that's it, really, that we have. You could try and make a case for others, but I don't agree with it. I think Majrawi could be a top 4 player and fit in them, but I think when you look at like the quality at the minute, Bruno and Amad are the two players that do stuff. So if you can get him back, my God, the impact that he can have. I'm just worried about the first leg, because I've gone back and I've watched some of the Bilbao games. You know what? I'm calling them Athletic Bilbao. I refuse to call them Athletic Club. It just feels stupid. I feel like I'm calling them like a pro club's name. I've gone back and watched some of Bilbao's games, and they're good. They are very good. Under Valverde. Valverde's a very, very experienced coach. Of course, he managed Barcelona as well. I think he won a couple of league titles. Experienced coach, just has that tactical nous. Similar to, like Ruben Amorim said, to Ayarola with Bournemouth. Similar kind of high press off the ball. Like to keep hold of it when they've got it. But can punish you with dangerous wingers as well in Nico Williams, Inaki Williams. Sansei is another player as well who's just one of those, I don't know what's the best way to describe it. When they're in and around the 18-yard box, they just make the correct decisions that kill you off. And that's what I worry about him. I don't know if that Sansei is going to be fit for Bilbao or not. But if he is, that kid is a problem. He's their top goal scorer at the minute. Nico Williams, likewise, on the left-hand side. I don't know who's going to be dealing with him. Mazraoui, Yoro, whoever. That's going to be tricky. And then the atmosphere as well in the stadium. I mean, they really get on top of the supporters. So I'll leave myself slightly for the when we do the preview tomorrow night, I think that'll be, which I'm really interested to get into. But yeah, that is going to be a really, really difficult game. I think all the odds makers and bookies all have Athletic Bilbao's favourites, and you'd have to agree with it. I mean, they are 4th in La Liga. They have lost the same amount of games as Barcelona and Real Madrid. And they are competing. They are competing with a lot of teams, a lot of big teams as well. So that is going to be such a tough ask. And then even if you beat them, if Spurs beat Bodo Glimt and get into the final, we've already been slapped off Spurs 3 times this year. No. And Spurs is one of them teams that just... I know some people think, oh, well, we've got the more pedigree in finals and we can beat anyone. That game would worry me. I've been saying it for months. If we get Spurs in a final, that's going to be tough. With Bodo Glimt, we've already beat Bodo Glimt. And nothing's guaranteed in football, but you have that in the back of your mind. You don't have that in the back of your mind when you play Spurs. You're like, we've already been slapped off these 3 times and conceded 12, 13 goals. So, yeah. Right, back to the comments then. Please do smash the like if you're just joining the video. I'm going to speak about Matheus Cunha in a minute. And also, like I said at the start of the show, keep an eye on this channel for when we sign Cunha, because something is going to drop. So turn on that notification bell so you do not miss it. Random guy saying Bilbao don't score many, but they don't concede many either. They have the best defensive La Liga statistically. Exactly. Look at that. Pogba to DC United. All them links as well, Charlie, in the January window. Ahmad and Bruno are quite similar. Both are quality and work their hearts out. Why are we like this? If it was not a mistake to sell Scott, he's saved our transfer window. It's not a mistake to sell Fred. It was not a mistake to sell anyone we sold. They were not good at the club. Fair point. Fair point. A defeat to Spurs in the final would be a historical embarrassment. That as well. I just made the cake. You just put the cherry on top. Absolutely. You can't get any catastrophically worse in a season than finishing wherever we finish, which is, let's call it 15th in the Premier League, and losing a final to Tottenham. That is possibly the worst feather to ever have in your cap. Losing a final to Tottenham. Oh my God. Can you imagine? Oh, that just, I would rather, it's like relegation almost, isn't it? They've been so shit this season. They have bottled it a million times. You cannot... I don't even want to think... We've got to get to the final first, right? But I can't even fathom just Tottenham battering us in the final and going... that. Oh, please, no. Please, God, no. Like Michael Scott would say, no! God, no! No! Please. The last story I'm going to discuss, ladies and gentlemen, Fabrizio Romano put out earlier today. He's been retweeting his old tweets. He's been doing the dilly-dally and bing bang bosh. Negotiations for Matheus Cunha to sign for United are now discussing the final details. The deal will be sealed very, very soon. And I'm going to stay a little bit tight-lipped on this. I don't want to give away too much. One, I'll just say this. I'm surprised at how quick we've moved on this. United notoriously do not do deals quickly. We wait for the summer to arrive. We wait for everyone else to sign players. And then we panic at the end of the window. That's been pretty much our motto for the last 10 years. The fact that we're moving quick on this deal, even when other clubs are interested, and it's almost agreed, fills me with a little bit of confidence heading into the summer that there's a bit of proactiveness there. There's a bit of light bulb thinking. There's quick movements. I'm happy to see that. My gut feeling initially about the transfer in general, I'm happy about it. I think he's a solid player. I dive more into detail on a certain thing that's dropping on the channel soon, so I'll reserve my comments on that. But you all know what I think of Cunha anyway, and I know what you guys think of him just from the reactions on when we've done our news posts on YouTube, also on Instagram as well. There's plenty of stuff over on there, multiple stories discussed. Breaking news, reels, transfer stuff. Just check us out on socials. You'll see it all anyway. Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. But yeah, the only thing that's kind of a red flag that people keep pushing out when we do push these stories is disciplinary records. Some people are unhappy about that. He had a situation with a staff member where I think he headbutted him or something over a certain altercation. He had the situation with Kirkes as well, where he got fined and a suspension. So he's a fiery player. Yeah, no shit. He's from fucking Brazil. He's from South America. I'd be a bit worried if he wasn't fiery. Look at the players we've got: Lisandro Martinez, Casemiro. They've all got that bit of bite and edge to him. And that's what I want. For me, I look at this team. I mean, when you speak about players like Roy Keane and Cantona, did everyone really go on about, oh, he was a bit fiery, he got the odd red card? No, did they fuck? It was like they fought for the team, they went to war with the team, and he was important, integral figures. Yeah, he might have kung fu kicked a fan, but he was antagonised. Yeah, Roy Keane might have nearly broke someone's leg, but, scales kind of, do they outweigh it? I don't know. I want fighters in this team. I think this current United side is so weak mentally and physically. If we're bringing someone in who's ready for a fight and can hold their own and is strong. Do I need to say any more? I don't think I do. Bring me in Matheus Cunha. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. real soon. And hopefully it's the first of many. But it's a really good start from Ineos, I have to admit. Last we played Spurs, we were better than them. And it was a shame, by the way, we lost. We play them again. I think United will trash them. Excuse me. Cunha and Edison, we got those two. Even with Rasmus up top, we'll not miss so many big chances we've missed this season. We'll have 20 plus more goals and a lot more points. This might be boring to read, but we need an experienced player in every position. Look at Dorgu and Garnacho. They play every game. We are burning out our young talent. This is exactly why Euro looks amazing. He has De Ligt and Maguire for guidance. I think I've always pushed a blend of experience with the young talents that we've got. Like it's like any analogy you want to use. Food. If you're a chef, right, and you have you've got a restaurant and you just have a load of apprentices in the back, the talented apprentices, they look like they've got a bit of thing about them. If they don't have a senior chef above them, it's going to be fucking chaos. There's going to be lobsters thrown at your head and fucking omelettes on the wall and shit. Like you need a balance of leaders and then really young generals below him. And even someone like Cunha, he's been about, man. He's played in Germany, he's played in Spain, he's played in England for a good few years. Like, he's learned his trade, and he's slightly experienced, you know. So, I'm not just him, but I agree we need experience in the side. Absolutely agree with that. Hopefully we do that. Because a lot of the briefing we're seeing coming out in a minute, it's like 25 and under, 25 and under. You're like, yeah, that's okay. Bring in an experienced striker. And it looks like they're probably going to go with Liam Delap. So that's another one where you're like, is he going to hit the ground running? Are we going to, we need a bit of time. It's his first season. I don't know if I'm a big fan of that. So, yeah. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, just a quick one tonight, but I wanted to discuss a couple of things. Just to recap for anyone who is just joining. We spoke about Marcus Rashford, injury, out for the season. Scott McTominay shining in Italy. Did Man United make the correct decision? We've got Amad Diallo and De Ligt returning to the team this week. And the Cunha deal is at its final steps. So, appreciate every single one of you. Subscribe to the channel. We're on 14,180 subs at the minute. Smash that like button. And I'll see you tomorrow for the Athletic Bilbao preview. Mega game. Can't wait to get into it.